About 100 years ago, right here, any guy who was in civilian clothing would have been handed a little white feather by one of these very nice, well-dressed suffragettes. And we actually went to the opening of the film Suffragette, dressed as World War I infantry, to protest it. Only we weren't actually allowed onto the red carpet. And we were going around with white feathers, going up to some of the more senior feminists, when I say senior, anyway, and saying, oh, can I tempt a madam to an action-adventure, all expenses paid holiday in Belgium, perhaps? Brand new wardrobe, you find the color green suits you. And obviously we didn't get any takers, but one generally tended to find that only people with education above a certain level actually took umbrage, and none of the younger ones understood it. So from this we can conclude that history truly has been dumbed down. But 100 years ago there would have been young women, very well dressed young women, who didn't want actually votes for all women, just posh ones like themselves, handing out white feathers to any guys in civilian clothing. There are actually instances of guys who come back having been gassed, and then they get given a feather and they, out of shame, go straight back into the recruitment center, go back and then get killed. So it's somewhat irresponsible to have people who aren't interested in or aren't liable to being drafted handing out feathers and to people who are. Now most of the guys in the trenches didn't have the vote. So a whole bunch of guys went over to Belgium and fought, and in many cases died, so that they would be able to get the franchise. And in 1917 there was a postal ballot, and of the people who replied, 70% of the women said that they would rather not have the franchise, thank you very much. So women were actually fighting against being enfranchised during World War I. And it took about 10 years to break this very strong link between the franchise and conscription. Now, until 1960, when we got rid of the draft here, we found that there's actually two classes of citizens. There's citizenship, which is doing the ink thing once every 5 years, and if the Germans ever cut up rough again, they have to go and play chicken with machine guns. And then there is citizenship light, which is all of the ink and none of the chicken. In Canada, it was 1989 when they got rid of the draft. And of course, in the United States, they still have first-class citizens and second-class citizens, depending on whether. Oh no, actually, they've just changed the law in the United States so that selective service now applies to women. And any Americans here?